You're going to absolutely love this week's Cover Price Top 10 list. It's absolutely bonkers, absolutely everything. It's absolutely absolute. Let's talk about what made the top 10 list and why, up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out the description. Email is on there, eBay store, Instagram, whatnot, all that fun stuff. We're going to jump into the list in just a second. Just to give you a brief overview, Covrprice is an online comic book valuing service that gives values based on sales data of both graded as well as raw comic books, and those raw comic book sales kind of set them apart. They also do articles and top 10 lists, and we're pulling this top 10 list from their website, and we're going to go into the books that made the list right now. We're going to start at number 10 on the list, and this is totally awesome. Hulk #1. This is the first appearance of Lady Hellbender, but really it's the first time that Amadeus Cho becomes a Hulk. And there's rumors of the what's the name of the actor? It's Logan Kim from the Ghostbusters Frozen movie, whatever it was. That he will be portraying Amadeus Cho. Now, these are just rumors, have not been confirmed. Also, maybe we're going to see some indication that we're going to be getting a World War Hulk film at the end of the Captain America New World Order. Now, here's my question. If we look at this book, right, sales of this book are in about, what, $15 to $20? And 9.8s, right? 9.8s at one point in the comic boom jumped up to $250 and have since receded. And for the most part, sub 100. There just was a $110 sale up from, you know, a $40 sale just less than 2 weeks ago when the news hit. Is it worth submitting this book? There are 561 Universal Blue Label copies of this book, and only 70% of those are 9.8s. So the supply is not that high, but I imagine it will be very soon. Let's just jump into number 9 on the list, and it is Mark Spears' Monsters #1 with this cover where all of these versions of the Universal monsters are looking down at us, from the Mummy to Frankenstein's monster, the werewolf, Dracula, Bride of Frankenstein, Mr. Hyde, and the creature from the Black Lagoon. This is the cover A. One of the variant covers has been on the list quite a bit. The one with the Mark Spears cover E with Bridezilla is probably this. Is it the priciest of the variants? And well, there is a 175 metal that is pretty pricey, and the X-Men 141 homage 1 in 50. That's pretty cool. If we take a look at that. But this book is kind of popular. I mean, these covers, and remember, there's a pretty large cross section, a pretty large intersection of the Venn diagram between comic book collectors and fans of Universal monster movies. Let's go to number 8 on the list. Absolute Batman #1, the Jim Lee foil cover. I did read Absolute Batman #1, the cover A, not the Jim Lee foil. And the story's pretty good. It's kind of compelling. It's set in an alternate universe. Basically, when Darkseid was killed, his energy created this kind of darker, grittier universe. Scott Snyder's handling the scripting chores on this. It's a good read. This has been the amongst new books, the talk of the town in the comic book world. And we'll see more of that as the list goes on. Let's move to number 7. This is Beauty #1. This Image book has been picked up for an FX series, and there's some stars, including Evan Peters and Ashton Kutcher, that have been linked to it. So issue #1 is kind of taken off. Values are all over the place. If we look at 9.8s, there are only 51 Universal books in the census, 47 9.8s. There's still 26 signature series books. And this was a book I mean, it was, you know, again, like a $28 book in July, and then 60, 120, and then now up to 250. Guys, be aware of supply and demand. The supply is low, and at this moment, the demand is high. That's only going to invert as time goes by. I mean, I think maybe the demand will increase if we see a trailer, if we actually see this series on our television sets, but the supply will have increased by then because people who find this book in high grade are going to submit it. Let's go to number 6 on the list, and it's Absolute Batman, the Nick Dragotta foil virgin cover. What's this going for? About 30 bucks. Let's go to number 5. Mark Spears Monsters #1, the Dracula cover. This is the cover B. And this is going for a little bit less, maybe somewhere between $15 and $30. I think there are just folks that are really into these covers. I might want to try to pick up this series just to see. I'm kind of interested. The covers are like, all the covers look pretty darn cool. They're homages to ASM 300 and Halloween. Hulk 340, ASM 129. I'm interested in what, you know, crime suspense stories. There's a 55, X-Men 141. I was 22, not 55. Star Wars 1. So lots of homages, and it almost makes me concerned about what's inside. Is this our new Do You Poo? Or are we actually, I mean, no, we're getting an issue number 2, but are we actually getting a story with this? So I'd be kind of interested to read it to see what's going on. In the meantime, let's go to number 4 on the list. And number 4 is Amazing Spider-Man 375, this foil cover from 1993, which is the first appearance of Anne Wying, who is Eddie Brock's ex-wife, and later becomes She-Venom. We saw She-Venom in Venom 1. Will we see her again? Who knows? But there's also some kind of Fortnite connection with skins you can win for her. This book, the 9.8s just kind of hover right around $100. And this is like $100 book in a 9.8. And, you know, I mean, a couple of stronger sales right here, but it's $100 book in a 9.8. And it did kind of bounce up during the comic boom, but only to like 215. Didn't go crazy during the boom. There are 6,400 universal copies, 43% of them 9.8. So because this book kind of got hot during the comic boom, a lot of non-9.8s were submitted. And unfortunately, those slabs do not have much desirability in the collectibles market. There is 199 though. And there could be more. This is a foil cover, keep in mind. Let's take a look at number 3 on the list. And this is Geiger #7. This is the Gary Frank Midnight Nation homage, which was a surprise variant, which is going for about, what, $10, $15? Not really that high. Now, I do believe in the Geiger series because I believe in Jeff Johns. And the entire Ghost Machine run. I'm starting to pick up those books now. I kind of laid off them at first. I'm like, do I need to jump onto something new? I did get like the early Geigers, but when they kind of came out with the ongoing stuff a few months ago, I kind of stayed back, and I did get a couple of number 1s. But I love Jeff Johns, so I think I'm gonna see what he has. The one thing that I regret being a DC Comics fan is that I don't know if he's gonna have time to write DC Comics anymore. So let's take a look at number 2 on the list, and it is Absolute Batman #1, the Jim Lee black and white 1 in 100 variant that is selling for over $100. It is a 1 in 100 up to 150, $325 for a 9.8. I'm not sure if that's a pre-sale. I mean, maybe somebody fast-tracked it. I don't know. This came out just a week ago, and let's just go to number 1 on the list, and it's Absolute Batman #1, cover A, selling for about $15. I talked a little bit about you know, this new Absolute line, which is an alternate universe created by the energy from Darkseid. And I read this issue. It's a little more brutal. It's got a little bit of Dark Knight vibes, and the Batman has a different background, right? In his relationship, his family background, his relationship to his supporting characters, and also the connection to his gallery of villains. So that's fairly interesting. I want to take a quick look at numbers 11 through 20 A couple of books that have been on the top 10 recently: Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes Special #1, which is the first appearance of Phantasm. X-Men 5, which is an error. It's X-Men 5, but it printed issue 1 on the cover. This is in the 1 in 25 only. Now, Strange Tales 126, the first appearance of Dormammu. People speculating that maybe Dormammu has something to do with Agatha all along. We'll see, because in the comics, he did have a connection to Nicholas Scratch, Agatha's son. We know that his presence exists in the TV show. We'll see more later on today with the next episode. Sonic the Hedgehog Annual 2024 #1. This is a 1 in 10 retailer incentive variant. Most issues of Sonic are notoriously underordered, so it's hard to get ratio variants. Spider-Man 2099 jumping on the list. X-Men 11, the last Jim Lee issue on this title. New Mutants 98, first appearance of Deadpool. And we'll say we tracked 16 copies, 7-day, 2% high, with a high sale of 1,050 for CGC 9.8. I think that was my sale. So yay for me. Secret Wars #8, Spawn #1, Wolverine #1. I don't have to say a whole lot about this to seasoned collectors. Those are amongst the most popular books of the Copper and Modern Ages. So that's going to do it for the Cover Price Top 10 list, dominated by Absolute Batman. Will he stay there in the long run? And will this be a book that people will be paying a premium for now? I mean, basically, we just got Ultimate Spider-Man #1 a few months ago, and now Absolute Batman #1. Some parallels there in the storytelling. Also some parallels to Doom #1, albeit without the connection to any rappers. Anyway, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. I'd like to thank you for stopping by, and this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.